It was fun while it lasted. That wasn't much fun. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We'll see if any JMU fans hop in. Although we do have a hashtag, always a bright side. Apparently, the West Virginia job was filled. So we'll see if Mark Byington is sticking around JMU. All right, so this was the complete reversal, even worse, of what happened in the Wisconsin JMU game. The difference is that Duke shot the ball well. They got a bunch of offensive rebounds and put those back in. The big thing at the beginning of the game was the Edwards 2 early fouls. The first one was the reach in. I went back and looked. That happened so quickly, I missed it. Happened live. And then he had one where he was getting posted up by Filipowski. I don't know why he was covering Filipowski, but that's what it was. And all right, well, you don't want that. Okay, so again, I'm doing this for the first time. All right, so I can't get to the chat. So he was getting boxed up. He was getting posted up by Filipowski, and I guess he had him around the waist. We didn't want to call the arm in the neck on Filipowski or anything. So Edwards had 2 early fouls, and they kept on giving up second chance points. That was the beginning of the ball game. I mean, Duke kept on missing, but kept on getting the rebounds, or the bounces just were not going JMU's way, right? I mean, they had a shot at all these rebounds. Filipowski, I thought, went over the top of Friedel. No call. And so he got a put back on that. They got offensive rebounds that were 3-pointers eventually. And, they jumped out to that 15-5 lead, the same exact lead that JMU had against Wisconsin. And I mean, JMU just never made a run. I mean, even at the end of the half, they get a fast break and they throw it away. They never were in this basketball game. Duke played, I would presume, about as well as they had played all season long. I'm not sure Duke has played that well in a long time. And defensively, JMU was just not in it. I mean, how many threes does McCain have to hit before we don't switch off McCain? All right, let somebody else hit a shot. Jeez, I mean, did he have 10 before he came out of the ball game? Let's see. Yeah, 10 for 15. That's even better than Oakland's Jack Oakey, who was 10 of 21. He was 10 of 15. He scored 30 points. JMU scored 55. I said that JMU would have to hit 8 to 10 3-pointers. They hit 4. They never got going shooting-wise. They were even bad from the free throw line, 13 of 23. Duke shot better from 3. Well, almost. Duke shot 14 of 28 from 3. JMU shot 13 of 23 from the free throw line. Not good. As for the fouls, yeah, there were, those things always seem to go Duke's way. But turns out that they actually called more fouls on Duke in the first half than on JMU, but they missed a bunch of free throws. It was bad from the get-go and did not work out well at all. Not whatsoever, unfortunately, for JMU. Edwards had all kinds of problems getting past Kyle Filipowski. I mean, he needs to come back. If he's thinking about going pro and he can get past Kyle Filipowski, I know Filipowski's much bigger than him, so you need more than a half a step to put a layup on, or else he'll just reach up and swat it away. I get it, but if you can't get past Kyle Filipowski when it's one-on-one at the top of the key or on the wing, you're going to have issues at the next level. I mean, Filipowski's a good college basketball player. I'm not exactly sure if quickness is his forte. I was kind of a little bit disappointed that Edwards couldn't get past rarely tried to get past Filipowski. Well, if you get help defense, that's one thing, but that doesn't change the whole getting past Kyle Filipowski. So I didn't think Edwards played. I mean, no one played particularly well. Edwards did what he could. I'm sure he finished with a game high, right? Did he finish with a game high? 13 points, 5 and 11 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3. Again, they were just 4 of 18 from 3. Friedel had a couple. He never got going in this tournament, 3 and 9. Xavier Brown had the huge Sun Belt Championship game. He wasn't the same. Wooden 3 of 8. He hit a 3 early. Bickerstaff 11 points. But I mean, they didn't get all that much out rebounded, as it turns out. 37-32, and the offensive rebounds were even. But I got a feeling at 12 apiece. But I got a feeling that's a lot in the second half. Nobody for James Madison had more than 5 rebounds. Bickerstaff had 5. Wooden had 5. Friedel had 5. Then it was spread out. It was actually spread out pretty well on the Duke side of things. Either 3 guys had 5 and a couple had 6. Just not JMU's. I don't think there's anything you could do about it. Even if you want to talk about the fouls, even if you want to discuss that, you can't change 14-28 from 3-point land. So that I don't know if that's partly got to be JMU defending, but it also has to be, Duke is unconscious from 3. All right. I mean, we could quickly go over, McCain's high for the season, right? He had 30 points today. 30 points. Well, he did have 35 earlier against Florida State. He had 23 against UNC. That's pretty good in the loss. He scored 20 a few times. He scored 20 a handful of times. What did he average? Must have averaged, what's he averaging, like 15? Let's see. He averages 13 and a half points a game. He's had some big ball games. He let me see. He shoots it well from 3, almost 40% from 3, but he averages making 2 a game. He averages only taking 5 a game. He made 10 today. So you can understand what the defensive strategy was. So maybe he's like, all right, well, he's made a couple. He's going to miss. Well, then he didn't miss. You gotta stop McCain. So it doesn't matter what the calls were. It doesn't matter the physicality of it. It doesn't matter if, was it Jalen Blake's going up for a layup and smacks Friedel across the head, and Friedel is called for an intentional foul. I mean, Friedel leaped up, hit him across the body, and he's called for the intentional foul, whereas Blake's slaps him across the head. That had nothing, obviously that's late, has nothing to do with the game or the call or the way it was called, because if he can't stop 14-28 from 3, I mean, defensively, what did Duke shoot? JMU is so much better than they played in this ball game. I'm sure we're going to find out from Shane Metlin how poor of a, I want to say effort, but outcome this was. Duke shot 52.5% overall, 50% from 3. They turned the ball over a total of 6 times. Remember, didn't Wisconsin turn the ball over double digits in the first half? JMU turned the ball over 14 times, a lot in the first half. And they were just all out of sorts, which we were expecting. I was expecting, JMU or Duke not to have the reaction that Wisconsin did, right? That JMU made Wisconsin aware that JMU was there, right? Making sure that if you're cutting through the lane, you're going to get a body on you, right? We're always going to put a body on you. And, well, in this case, it was Duke being the aggressor. Duke made of themselves aware. And I think John Shire, when he talked on the sidelines at half, is like, yeah, we came out and we kind of brought it to them. And I think they did. I do. I think they did. All right, so we'll talk about couldn't contain McCain. When we come back, let me tell you about Nissan. This week's March Madness Bracket Highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest. Just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs, these guys were able to take it to the next level. The Arizona Wildcats could only be described as an armada. This 2-seed is as hardcore as it gets out there, so no wonder they took it to Long Beach State in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and they held off Dayton, advancing to the Sweet 16. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt. We're live reacting, I think. It is on YouTube, so I do know it's there. I just don't know how to do the chat and the StreamYard all at the same time. All right, we're getting new at this. All right, so they could not contain McCain, as we have been discussing. 10 of 15 from the field. He only hit 8. I guess that was a typo. He only hit 8 3-pointers. My bad. He hit 8 3-pointers, a couple of free throws, had 5 rebounds in just what is a dream game, right? That's a really dream scenario, having that kind of ball game on that stage in the Big Apple. And, you know, there were plenty of people. I wasn't the only one. I went back because I wanted to see the first foul on Terrence Edwards, and you heard Raftery and Grant Hill, you know, talking about what Duke has to do, right? As if Duke was the underdog. Duke has to play good defensively. Duke has to be physical. Duke can't back down. And that was really strange hearing that. And so it was Duke doing everything that JMU did, plus made their shots. That's the kind of ball game that if JMU was making their shots against Wisconsin, I don't know if it would have been that kind of outcome, but it could have been a 20 to 30 point ball game. And you see the difference is when Duke makes their shots, they get the big blowout win. And they could not contain McCain. And I mean, did anybody shoot it poorly? I mean, Mitchell was 1 of 6. All right. Filipowski was 6 of 8. You know, he took 1 3-pointer, but everything else is a dunk or a layup. Proctor was 7 of 15, 4 of 10 from 3. Roach was 5 of 8. Boy, you know what? I thought he dislocated his elbow when he went in there to defend a play in the first half. I really did think he went right to the sideline and held his hand out. I thought he dislocated his elbow, that it got caught while he was slapping, and it was just his finger. Thank goodness, right? We know, you know, that's a serious injury. Finger, you know, it's a little bit of pain. Take some aspirin, straighten it out, and, you know, tape it up, and he came back in. But even Stewart was 2 for 2. Young was 1 for 2 off the bench. It was just really all Duke. It really was all Duke. It was not nothing you could do about it from JMU. I don't think there was coaching other than not switching off McCain. Let's stay on McCain. Let's face guard McCain, right? Even Kentucky eventually, you know, was face guarding a Golke and not trying to help. We're going to guard him. I don't even care where the ball is. I'm just going to guard him. So they never changed that up. At least it didn't appear that way until it was way too late. Okay, let's take another quick break. I don't have the chat for comments. I'm not happy about that. So we did it. We did it on YouTube last time, and I just don't. I don't really know how to do it. That's YouTube. I don't know how to do it. So we're stuck here. I wish I could get you guys on the chat. Leaving studio. No. People, no. Studio chat. Yeah, I guess you can get. Oh, no. That's chat with everybody in the studio. That's just people here. So we'll try to figure it out at a different time. All right. Let me take one more break. We'll come back. There may be some good news for JMU fans. We'll see with the news that broke, I believe, in the second half of the ball game. We will do that when we come back, and we will tell you about FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing with America's #1 sportsbook right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. And LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses are using LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage. Explore magnificent trails that lead you through our rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps, where you can paddle past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for the rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/season. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. Quickly, let's see. Oh, goodness. So, baseball-wise, and we'll do this in the regular Monday episode, App State and Coastal are playing the second game of a doubleheader. Apparently, there's no drop-dead time because they're still playing. It's 11-11 in the 10th. This game started at 4. It's a 4-hour ball game. Coastal is looking to avoid getting swept. App State going to the bottom of the 10th. They got a chance to sweep. All right. Meanwhile, Pete Thamel from ESPN reported that the Drake coach, Darian DeVries, filing a 5-year deal to become the next coach at West Virginia. Remember, right before the Sun Belt Conference tournament that week, it came out that Mark Byington, some anonymous Twitter handle, put it out in the ether that Mark Byington had a handshake agreement to take the West Virginia job. Well, Sun Belt tournament, and then another week goes by, that's 2. And then this week, that's 3. It didn't happen, obviously. So DeVries is getting the West Virginia job, according to Pete Thamel. Dustin May took the Michigan job instead of the Louisville job. And so you still have one of the premier jobs out there. Scott Drew turned down the Louisville job because Baylor's a good job, right? He's been there forever. He replaced Dave Bliss. I mean, he's been there forever. And a couple more bucks isn't going to matter. He just won a national championship a few years ago. Why move on? To me, Louisville is one of the top jobs. But if I have a job at Baylor, and I'm no fan of Baylor, flat out. But if I have that job and Texas and Oklahoma are moving to the Big 12 or are moving to the SEC, and I just got to worry about Kansas, and Kansas had a down year, I'm staying at Baylor. because Louisville is a little bit of a headache job. It's a great job. Used to be the top revenue generator in college basketball in America, not Kentucky, not Syracuse with the Dome, not North Carolina, and certainly not Duke. It was Louisville because it's in a big city and they draw 20,000 a game or whatever it might be in the Yum Center. But not only do you have to compete for Final Fours and national championships if you do the Louisville job, you got to be better than Kentucky. That's the thing. It is a blender of a job. You got to be ready for that job. That's why, maybe a Dustin May took Michigan, right? As much as Michigan State has the last 20 years or so for sure, that they've been better in basketball, they're still Michigan State. Michigan's Michigan, and Michigan State, sorry to put it this way, is the baby brother, is second, right? Michigan State's basketball program better in Michigan, but it's still second. Louisville doesn't see themselves as second to Kentucky. They probably are, but they don't see themselves like that. And you got to do both. You got to compete for Final Fours and national championships, and you got to be better than Kentucky. So having said that, the Louisville job is open. I'm sure Mark Byington would, jump at the chance of going to coach Louisville, but that wasn't the rumor. So I guess it would be good news if Mark Byington is coming back. We'll see at the same time of the West Virginia job being filled and the Louisville job, being jumped over for Michigan, the Kentucky job may be open. So talk about a job that is as tough as any job out there. If Calipari ends up deciding to leave, I can't imagine getting fired, but deciding to step down or whatever the case may be, it'll be interesting to see who wants that job, all right, or who is interested in that job, because that is, I guess Kentucky's got to be, is that got to be considered the best job in America? I don't know. Toughest job, but certainly one of the premier jobs in America. UCLA used to be, but I don't think it is anymore. And North Carolina, Duke. I like to think Syracuse is up there, but probably not anymore. So North Carolina, Duke. Nate Oates has made Alabama a pretty good job. But, Kentucky and Louisville, those guys got to be, that's a top 4 jobs. Michigan State. Yeah. Kansas. Yeah. All right. So we'll see if Mark Byington sticks around. At the very least, he'll probably get a raise. He'll probably get a new contract. He's only been there a few years, right? Because he was with GSU during COVID. So 21, 22, 23, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 4 years. So if he hasn't already gotten a new contract, he'll certainly get a new contract. And Mark Byington could be sticking around. It'll be interesting to see who else sticks around. I did not realize until they mentioned it on the game that Terrence Edwards has a year left of eligibility. If I was Terrence Edwards, I would go through the process and then see where I am. Now, Terrence Edwards could end up being, he probably has to, improve the jump shot. If he could make a lot of money in Europe. He could make a ton of money in Europe. But I'm not sure he's quite ready for the NBA. Now, he definitely has to improve the jumper to play in the NBA. So go through the process, see where you would be, and then if it's not to your liking, then maybe come back. All right. And then, with all the other guys, well, Friedel's probably not. Friedel's probably not coming back. He's got to be out of eligibility. But you got guys, Jalen Carey's coming back. Maybe Bickerstaff. They got a bunch of guys that can come back. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. All right. That's my family calling me. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to Lockdown Sunbelt Live Edition. I don't know how to do the whole chat room thing. I don't know where that went to. I wish I could be talking with everybody, but I'll figure that out for next time. Thought I figured it out for this time, but I did not. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day.